The story you're about to hear really happened. It's not just a story. It's a true story, and it comes from the Bible, the special book that contains all the stories of God. A long time ago, God breathed His words onto paper. And then all these pieces of paper were put together into books. And each book was given a name. You can see all the names of all the books on this bookshelf. There are 66 in all. And all these little books were attached together to make one big book we call the Bible. Every word in the Bible is true, and it is written especially for you. Today's story is found in the very first book of the Bible, called Genesis. The name Genesis means beginnings. All the stories found in Genesis happened way back at the beginning of the world. When God created everything, He looked over all that He had made. And He said, "This is good." And He blessed it. But people began to do bad things, and God was very sad. Everything that was good and clean and new that God had made now seemed spoiled. So God decided to send a great flood of water to wash everything clean and make it new again. God's eyes searched throughout the land for someone whose heart longed to do good. And He saw Noah. Noah and his wife Naamah had 3 sons, and each of their sons had a wife. In her aprons, Naamah gathered all the seeds that would sow new plants for the world. And Noah walked with God. He came so close to God, and God came so close to Noah that Noah knew what God wanted him to do. God wanted Noah to build a big boat called an ark. Noah and all his family began to build the ark. And as they were building the ark, animals began to come from all the 4 corners of the earth. They came 2 by 2 to fill the ark. When the ark was finished, Noah and his family watched as all of the animals came close. Two by two, they lined up and made their way into the ark. Noah and his family watched in wonder. And when God saw that all of the animals were safely in the ark, and that Noah and his wife Naamah and their 3 sons and their wives were all safely on the ark as well, God himself came and shut the door. And then it began to rain. It rained, and it rained, and it rained. Water came down from the heavens and up from the earth. At first it was like any rain, but the rain kept on coming. The puddles that were forming began to run together, and soon the water covered everything. But the ark floated safely. And when the creatures on the ark looked out into the rain, all they could see for miles and miles was water. It rained and rained and rained for 40 days and 40 nights. But God did not forget the creatures on the ark or Noah and his family. After 40 days and 40 nights, God made the rain stop. And all was quiet. And then God sent a great wind to dry up the water, and the water began to go down. And Noah came out and took a dove. He held it carefully and then sent it forth. It flew and flew and flew. And then Noah held out his hand and received the dove back. The dove had found no place to rest, so Noah knew there was still nothing but water. And so Noah waited 7 more days, and he sent the dove forth again. It flew and it flew and flew. And this time, when it came back, it had a fresh olive leaf in its mouth. Now Noah knew there was something green and growing on the earth again. So Noah waited 7 more days. And then he sent out the dove again. And this time, the dove did not come back. It had found a place to build a nest and make its home again. The water continued to recede and go down until finally the ark came to rest upon dry land. And Noah and his family opened the great door of the ark. And then all the animals came out. They ran, happy to be home again. They skipped and scurried and slithered to find their new homes. And Noah and his family were so happy they couldn't help but give thanks and praise to God. So they built a special place called an altar, and they prayed their thanksgivings because they were home again. And then, suddenly, all the creatures saw a great bow of light across the sky, filled with many colors. You can still see it today when there is rain and the sun is shining. Today, we call it a rainbow. The rainbow looks up to remind us of our good God who watches over us and brings us home. God put the rainbow in the sky as a sign of his promise that he would never send a flood over the whole earth again. And then the creatures went out to all four corners of the earth and filled it up again with life. Now I wonder what part of this story you like the best. I wonder what you are wondering about after hearing this story. And finally, I wonder what part of this story is most important